China UK is in his DNA. This is Jack Yu. This is The New Chinese. Welcome to the second episode of The New Chinese. In this episode, we'll meet one of the very few Chinese-born and raised British diplomats who says he dreams in Chinese with English subtitles. Join me as I introduce you to Jack Yu. Hi Jack, how are you?
Hi Minjie, very well. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
So this is the British Council where I started my career in China. Of course, this is their global headquarters in London. British Council operates in over 110 countries to promote British culture and soft power. In China, it operates as the cultural and education section of the British Embassy, where I worked as a diplomat for 3 years.
Although Jack is now China Business Development Director of a leading international law firm in the city of London, recalling the recruitment process at the British Council 4 years ago, he said it was not easy. But his China-UK background gave him the edge and helped him stand out from other candidates.
You have to go through, it's a very transparent, a very competitive process, various rounds of assessment and interviews. I was probably the only ethnic minority applied for that. The others were British colleagues, and I think I'm lucky because I had that experience. And as I said early on, I started my career in Chongqing, dealing with international affairs and working in the British Consulate General.
Jack decided to undertake that role partially was for family reasons, but he also saw several opportunities to utilize the UK connections.
At that time, my boy was 8. I want him to be able to speak more Mandarin, and also going back to China, we can live with my parents, or my parents can visit us more frequently. Secondly, I think there's a lot UK can do or to engage with China, but you have to really understand how things are done in China. So it's the opposite direction.
Being native Chinese, then returning home working as a British diplomat is rather unusual and raises many questions and opportunities to share cultural differences.
One of the memorable moments is sometimes when I go to meet with Chinese government bodies, they expect to see someone blue-eyed and sort of blonde hair. So when I turn up, this incident with a British colleague, so the host was mistakenly regarded the colleague who happened to be junior to me as myself. So actually very friendly shook hands with this colleague and introduced him to a very grand setting, and he was at the top table. So it's all very amusing, and then my colleague had to explain so actually I am the person he needs to talk to. Despite the occasional mix-ups, Jack still managed to turn these situations in his favor. So I just feel quite funny, and it's a good icebreaker, and the Chinese realize actually I'm the representative for that meeting. So it's good icebreakers, and they ask about my background, how I come to become a British diplomat, even though I was born and brought up in China.
To summarize Jack's life or career, he said it's very much about the connections between China and Britain.
Born in China, I'm Chinese, but throughout my career, almost 20 years, I've always worked with British people or British companies or British organizations. So I feel very much China, UK is in my DNA. I think I dream in Chinese with English subtitles.
Dream in Chinese with English subtitles.
Or dream in English with Chinese subtitles.
Although now Jack is able to skillfully shuttling between two cultures, he admitted there was a time when his knowledge of England was heavily dependent on the nation's famous literature.
Before I worked for British Council in Chongqing, I had never been to the UK. I read British literature that's very much Dickensian type, and Shakespeare sonnet. That's how I approached English culture. I thought London was very foggy, and people here wear bullet hats. That was my impression or my stereotype image of the UK. Then I had the opportunity to visit the UK, to see London in my own eyes. So that certainly for young graduates, that was certainly an eye-opener for myself.
In Jack's spare time, he enjoys art, culture, theatres and museums. One weekend, I took the opportunity to accompany him on a visit to his favorite gallery.
Minjie, London has got hundreds of museums and galleries, and Tate Modern is my favorite. Was originally, as you know, a power plant, then we converted into the modern arts gallery. It's probably one of the most celebrated art gallery in the world, with the most established artists exhibiting here. I used to work across the river, actually near St. Paul, so I often walk across the bridge and lunchtime come here to look at some of the artwork, really give me sort of refresh myself and recharge myself. So I find here a sort of like a refuge for myself.
While we were visiting the Tate, I was keen to find out Jack's views on the new Chinese in comparison to the Chinese coming to the UK in the 60s and 70s.
I think the priority those days were, first of all, to survive without any connection, or to how to establish themselves financially and economically. That's why so many of them end up working in Chinatown. So their spare time, compared to us, they actually had to work in the kitchen and had to earn a living. And we come from a sort of a more fortunate time now. I think we can afford to go to places and to actually enjoy ourselves, in addition to our busy working life.
As one of the new Chinese, Jack sees himself as a bridge connecting the East with the West.
I think the new Chinese, as I said, very much in touch with China. We are basically like a bridge connecting, here's connecting the capital and the arts world, but we are connecting the East and West, connecting our homeland to the Great Britain, to creating opportunities and common and shared, hopefully, prosperity and opportunities for all of us. I feel myself very much one of the bridges in the newer Chinese generation. Given my background in international affairs, diplomacy, legal services and commerce, I feel in these fields I very much hope I can be an active bridge connecting Chinese people, Chinese society with their British counterparts.
If you want to catch all our episodes on the new Chinese, please make sure you follow us on social media.